All right, the law of cosines. So first question, I give you side A, side B, side C. This is typically how the law of cosines is going to go. And I'll ask you for angle B. So as soon as I'm asking you for angle B, you're going to write cos B. So then how it goes is whatever letters I didn't pick there, you put first. So that's going to be A and C. So you put A squared plus C squared. 2AC goes on the bottom. And then you're going to take away B squared. Now, it's always important that, you plug in carefully and you make sure your formula is right. If you pick the wrong formula, then the whole thing is wrong. So A was 8, so I have to do 8 squared. C was 14, so I have to do 14 squared. And B is 21, so I have to do 21 squared. And then at the bottom I have 2A, which is 8, C, which is 14. Now, again, you got to multiply all this out. So let's see, 8 times 8 is 64. I'm pretty sure 14 squared is 196. And I think 21 squared is 441, if I'm not mistaken. I don't do all of these in my head, by the way. I was seeing these answers in the class. So 8 times 14 times 2 is 224. So now, if I'm not mistaken, from what I saw everybody showing me during the class, on the top you should get negative 181. If you do 64 plus 196 and subtract 444, again, negative number. What does the negative number tell you? The negative number tells you that this angle is going to be larger than 90 degrees. It is going to land in the second quadrant. So I know it's going to be bigger than 90. So to find angle B, I have to do cos negative 1, inverse cosine of negative 181 over 224. Now, again, let's share. We do it together. Go to the calculator, clear out what's there. Second, cosine. Now, again, to put the minus sign, you put the negative button. You do not hit the subtraction button. Your calculator won't like it. It'll do it wrong. So I put negative 181 divided by 224. You can close the parentheses or not. Doesn't matter. So I got 143.904. So 143.9. So angle B equals 143.9 degrees. So that's the first one. Again, this is a very straightforward problem. Plug numbers into the damn formula. Just make sure you press the right buttons. Don't forget the negative sign here. I mean, you can't really screw this up unless you put the wrong letters there. But, your test and stuff is open notes. You should have the formula right in front of you and just copy it. All right, so just be careful when you do them. I'm going to do 2 more. All right, problem number 2 from the law of cosines. I'm looking for angle A, so I'm going to write cos A. Whatever letter I put here, I put the other 2, right? It's A, B, C. So I need to put B and C, so B squared plus C squared. On the bottom of that goes 2, B, C. And then the letter that I had goes at the end. Now plug in. Again, just be very careful that you plug in properly. Now I want to point out that A and C are the same. So you're going to get some crossing out up there. This tells me that the triangle has 2 equal sides and 2 equal angles. Angle A and C would be the same, but I only want angle A. All right, that is an isosceles triangle. B was 5, so I need 5 squared, plus C is 3, which is 3 squared. But A is also 3. Those are going to cross out. So on the bottom, I have 2, B, which is 5, and C, which is 3. Yay. You see, this one's pretty easy to do without a calculator, except for the last step. 5 squared is 25. You have plus 9 minus 9, which, hello, makes 0. 5 times 3 is 15, and then you double it, you get 30. This 9 and this 9, goodbye. So you get cos A equals 25 over 30. But I want to know what angle A is. I need angle A. So for me to get angle A, I have to do the opposite of the cosine dude, which is the inverse cosine dude. So you do cosine minus 1 of 25 over 30. I ain't going to leave you hanging. I didn't do it here, but this is why I got the calculator to share on the screen. So even though it's not my favorite calculator. Second cosine, 25 divided by 30. Now I want to point out, this is positive 25 over 30. I didn't get a negative. So this angle is in quad 1. It should be less than 90 degrees. And boop, it is. 33.55, or if you want to round, 0.56. So let's call it 33. I'll put it up here. 33.56 degrees. If you wrote 5.5, I'm not going to have a heart attack, not the end of the world. Okay, again, plug in carefully. This time I got a positive number, so I have a positive value. So my angle is between 0 and 90 in the first quadrant. All right, last problem. Okay, number 3, the final one, and the most difficult pain in the ass one that you won't have to do this on your test, but since I had you do it, I want to go over it. I want to point out, on exam in the final, I will give you 3 sides and make you find an angle, just like the first 2 examples I worked. This one is much more advanced. Now, this particular problem, the law of sines would not work. In the past, if you were going to do this question and I gave you 2 sides and an angle, and I asked you to find the missing angle, you would use the law of sines. But here, I want you to find the 3rd side. It's not going to work out. So I gave you angle C, and I want side C. So since I gave you angle C, you have to use cosine of C. So you use the opposite letters, which are A and B, right? It has to be ABC. And then underneath it, you put 2AB, and then minus the C squared there. This is what I'm solving for. I don't know it. I don't know that side. I know this angle, and I know those 2 sides, so I can fill in everything except for him. So that's what I'm going to do. This gets very nasty. So I'm going to put 39 here. A squared is 7. I mean, A is 7. B is 10. So you get 10 squared. C squared, I don't know. Now I get 2. A, which was 7, and then B, which was 10. So now I'm going to have, this is where the computation is going to get nastier. So I have cos 39. I have a 49 here. Well, you know what, let's do it over here. 7 squared is 49. 10 squared is 100. Minus the C squared, right? All I did is just do 7 times 7, 10 times 10. 7 times 10 is 70, and then you times it by 2, that's 140. Now I can add these numbers together on top. I have a 49 and 100. I mean, hello. I get 149 minus C squared, that's on top, and I have this 140 on the bottom. Now, this is where you want to do the crisscross. You don't want to do this. I'm just showing you. If you cross multiply here, right, the number on the bottom of this, which is a 1, would go across to the other side. So that doesn't do anything. All you really do is take this 140 and move it across to here. So, right, this is your crisscross multiplying. Multiply the 140 over to that side. So you're going to do 140 times cosine 39 equals 149 minus C squared. So now I need to compute that. Again, this is what you have a calculator for. You can't do these things. You shouldn't attempt to do too much. You certainly can't do cosine 39 without it. So I have 140, and I'm multiplying it by cosine 39. You know, you don't know what the cosine of 39 is. It's a decimal. So you can't do this without it. So I get 108.8. 108.8. So my screen doesn't want to stop sharing. There we go. So this number here is 108.8. My dot looks funny. 149 minus C squared. Now, I need C squared by itself. So I have to get rid of this 149. So I have to subtract, hello. I have to subtract 149 from both sides. Right? You have to do this. You have to cross out that 149. So then again, take the calculator. You know, I'm not going to share the screen for this. I'm going to do 108.8, and I'm going to subtract 149. And even if I can do it in my head, I'm not going to. Right? So I get 40.2. But I get a negative, right? It's negative 40.2. I mean, I had $108 and I spent $149, right? I owe, right? I had to charge money to my credit card. So now look what happens. You have a negative number here and a negative number there, but it's C squared. I know the opposite of squaring is square root. I also know that I cannot take the square root of a negative number, right? You get that imaginary fake ass I. And I can't do the square root with this negative here anyway. So just switch them both to plus. Make this plus, right? Divide both sides by -1. So you get C squared equals 40.2. So then C must be radical 40.2. And you know, I don't know what the hell that is. I know it's more than 6 because I know radical 36 is 6. And I know 40 is bigger. So remember, on your calculator down here, there is an x squared button. Above it, you have a radical. To get to that, you go second squared, right? So now I have the radical symbol. And I'm going to put 40.2. It's like 6 point something. 6.340. Nice. No rounding there. 6.34. So side C is 6.34. This problem is much more advanced. It involves a lot more algebraic manipulation, right? You have to do a lot of crisscross, all this bullshit, square root. You're not going to have to do that on the final or on the third test. But I just want to show you because you had to do this one today. It's not that bad, but it's a lot more work than the other two. So just be happy you don't have to do that one. All right, you'll do 1 or 2. All right, so those are the 3 questions for the law of cosines. Last lesson of the semester. Yay! Throw a party.